Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today, I'm continuing with my holiday series, and I'm going to be talking about the actor who played Charlie Snead in The Homecoming, actor William Windom. Before I launch into this segment, I just wanted to share with you a little bit of, this is kind of a bit of a blooper segment because it exemplifies some of the things I have talked about in the past. One being, you've asked about how they keep from getting a reflection in glasses. And this is an example of me wearing my glasses and my ring light being reflected all over my glasses. And every time I look a certain way, I end up with like these huge white rings around my eyes. So I was watching the playback of the edit and went, oh, that's like really goofy. And boy, am I going to get comments about it. But the other aspect of this is what can happen sometimes when you're filming, when you don't have an opportunity to look back at what you filmed before. It's already, especially since we were working on film, it's been edited. And the editor's looking at it and going, we can't go back and reshoot. So this was a similar thing where, due to time restraints, to get this segment up for all of you here and not delay and not have you say, why isn't there a segment today? I had to go ahead and let it roll as is, but I just wanted to give you this quick heads up that, yes, you're going to see a lot of reflection in my glasses. So I hope you will overlook that and just enjoy this segment and what I had to share with you about working with William Windom. I was familiar with William before The Homecoming because I'd seen him in various different TV shows. He was one of those faces. He was always turning up in different shows. And so I had a familiarity. So that was always fun for me to get to work with somebody who I had seen on TV and was sort of impressed by. During the filming, I remember he was kind, he was generous, he was funny, he was warm, he was wonderful to do scenes with. So that was also great. He made it so easy. There were certain scenes that particularly I loved. When he first brought the turkey and gave it to us, and Grandma Ellen Corby takes it and she starts inspecting it. And then there's this whole thing about how he shot this turkey and she was sort of like saying, no, this looks way too clean to be a wild turkey. And then he talks about how he shot it with one bullet. And she's like, a sitting still bird, you shot a sitting still bird. And then he gives a whole thing about how many paces and off of something else. And anyway, just an exchange I really enjoyed. Then later on, when Olivia's talking about they don't take charity.
We do not accept charity in this house.
We took that turkey from Charlie Snead.
That's enough out of you, John boy.
So just moments like that his sense of comic timing was just perfect. And I thought it added so much. And I really enjoyed that character of Charlie Snead. And it was one of the characters that didn't really cross over onto the Waltons. Instead, I think they developed the character of Yancey Tucker, which was a different sort of a comic character. When Charlie is in Ike's store and the sheriff has arrested him because he thinks he is the bandit who's been stealing produce from stores, and he has him handcuffed, and Charlie's trying to get a drink off of Ike, and Ike says, well, I do have some sort of liquor that I keep around for a snake bite. And he does his cute little, I do think he got me. So those things made me smile and do make me smile every time I rewatch The Homecoming. William also traveled with us to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. He was on the same charter plane that all the cast flew up to Wyoming. And he brought along his wife and his baby. And so I did manage to get a shot with him at the Virginian Lodge when we were outside one day playing in the snow. I did some online research. I'm hoping that the information I have is accurate, but this is what I came across. He was born in Manhattan in 1923. He was named after his great-grandfather, Congressman William Windom. He attended Williams College and the University of Kentucky, amongst others. During World War II, he served as a paratrooper in the U.S. Army's B Company 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment, the 82nd Airborne Division, and fought in Operian Market Garden. That was the invasion of Holland, the Battle of the Bulge and D-Day. And I came across this website that showed military people men who were in that company, and came across this picture of him as PFC William Windom with the 508th company. And in looking at that, it struck me because they had all the pictures of all of the men who were in that Company B. And it broke my heart to see that out of 40 members of Company B, 28 were killed in action. 2 were missing in action. 1 died of wounds from his injury in battle, and 1 became a POW. So odds were not great for those paratroopers. And William was most fortunate to have made it through. Then it says, while he was stationed in Frankfurt during the Allied occupation of Germany, he enrolled in a Biarritz American University in France and became involved in theater. After the war, he studied at both Fordham and Columbia Universities in New York City, and then trained at the American Repertory and went on to do theater in New York. In the early 1950s, when television got going, he moved back and forth between theater and TV, including Broadway roles in 1953, he was in A Girl Can Tell, Mademoiselle Colombe in 1954, Fallen Angels 1956, The Greatest Man Alive 1957, and Viva Madison Avenue 1960. And during that time on TV, in dramas such as Robert Montgomery Presents and the Hallmark Hall of Fame. He did numerous TV roles, including his first leading role in The Farmer's Daughter, for which he did 101 episodes. And then later he received critical notice as the cartoonist protagonist whose vivid imagination causes problems on the home front in the series My World and Welcome to It. And I remember watching him in that. And for that, he won an Emmy as Best Actor. His resume includes 46 film credits. He made his film debut as Gregory Peck's opposing counsel in To Kill a Mockingbird. Other films included the Americanization of Emily with Julie Andrews and James Garner, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the remake of Miracle on 34th Street in 1994, and he also starred with Frank Sinatra in the film The Detective. He has 212 TV credits, and those shows range from The Lucy Show, Combat, The Twilight Zone for 2 episodes, 77 Sunset Strip, 12 O'Clock High, The Wild Wild West, The Fugitive, Star Trek, Bonanza, Mod Squad, The Virginian, All in the Family, Night Gallery, Gunsmoke, The Jimmy Stewart Show, The FBI, and then on to things like The Partridge Family, Mission Impossible, Hawaii Five-0, Streets of San Francisco, The Bionic Woman, Family, Dallas, Fantasy Island, Heart to Heart, The Love Boat, Highway to Heaven, Magnum P.I., Newhart, Murphy Brown, Ally McBeal, Jag, and it goes on and on. Later in his television career, he spent over a decade working with the legendary Angela Lansbury on Murder, She Wrote as Dr. Seth Hazlitt. He briefly left Murder to work on another series, Parenthood, based on the 1989 movie starring Steve Martin. He died August 16, 2012, from heart failure at his home in Woodacre, California. Other pieces of trivia that I came across was his great-grandfather, politician William Windom, 1827 to 91, served in both the U.S. House of Representatives and Senate as a Republican from Minnesota. Later, he became Secretary of the Treasury under Presidents James A. Garfield and Benjamin Harrison. His own character of Glenn Morley in The Farmer's Daughter was also a congressman from Minnesota. He was a chess enthusiast, a tennis enthusiast, an astronomy enthusiast, a sailor, a horse riding enthusiast, and a fan of W.C. Fields and burlesque comedies. He owned 7 different small boats and won numerous sailing trophies. He was profiled in Chess Life magazine twice. He was a tournament player with a penchant for unusual openings. He bought a small island for $1 in Windom, Minnesota, so named for his great-grandfather. And he can be heard promoting his show, The Farmer's Daughter, shortly before ABC News preempted programming with the news of President John F. Kennedy's assassination on November 22nd, 1963. That is an overview of what I found about the professional and personal life of William Windom. But most special to me was the opportunity to have known him in person for that brief period. But every time I watch The Homecoming, it brings back so many warm, wonderful memories and reminds me each time I see him again on the screen what a wonderful and versatile actor he was and what an amazing career he had. And it's so great that his legacy lives on through all of those decades of work. Thank you for joining me for this special holiday series segment about William Windom, who played Charlie Snead in The Homecoming. I will see you next time for more behind the scenes of the Waltons, some more of my holiday series, and special holiday messages. Thanks for watching.